This is the Wellness Club, where we dive into all things wellness, from nutrition to fitness to productivity and more. We are exploring the science to help you feel your best inside and out. I'm your host, Cass Camp, and I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the club. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is about confidence. And confidence is something that no matter what your background is, what you look like, what you like to do, what your hobbies are, what your goals are, every single person wants to be confident. And it's not even really just a nice to have. Confidence is a requirement. Confidence is something that we need. Confidence is something that shapes who we are. It shapes how others see us. It shapes the opportunities we get. It shapes how we see ourselves. It shapes what rooms we're allowed to be in, what risks we take. Confidence shapes everything. Statistically, confidence is the most attractive quality between both men and women. And over 55% of employers consider confidence to be the number one most crucial soft skill. So not only is confidence going to get you better mates, it's going to get you better jobs, it's going to make you more money, and it's going to build your self-esteem. And the best part about confidence is you're not born with it. Confidence is a skill, which means that you can work on it. It means you can build it. It means you can grow it. And there are things that you can do to actually improve your confidence. The idea for this episode came to me because people have asked me before, like, how do you get so confident? How do you have the confidence to do X, Y, and Z? And I think this is a wide topic that there are so many different avenues to take. And so in preparation for this episode, I just started jotting things down throughout the last couple weeks of things that I noticed that are little things that I do that build confidence. And then I started to research and I looked some stuff up. And honestly, all the advice out there on confidence is like the same three things of do your affirmations, manifest, look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself a high five. And while those things probably have some science backing to them, those things have never worked for me. And that's just the honest truth. So in this episode, the tips that I'm giving you, they're not those tips. They're not those general tips that everyone shares. These are things that over the last few weeks, I've literally just been writing down in my notes app that actually work, that are little things that you can do today. So you're definitely going to want to listen to this episode in its entirety because the tips are coming up and they are real things that you can do literally today. And they're little things that over time really add up to real confidence. I know this topic is a little bit outside of what I normally talk about, but honestly, this might be the most important episode that I've ever posted ever, because with confidence, you can do anything. One of the biggest myths about confidence is people think that the confident person is the person that's the loudest, most extroverted, knows every answer, knows every single thing. And while sometimes it is the person that's dancing on the table, usually it's the person that has that quiet trust and softness that even though they're not even trying, they have your attention. It's the person that walking into the room of strangers, they walk in, they look at people, they smile, they have a steady voice, and somehow without them even yelling and talking loud and doing anything crazy, they have your attention. You want to listen to them. Even without them showing you their resume and their diplomas and all their skill sets, somehow you trust them. Somehow you want to give them the opportunities. Somehow you want to include them in whatever you have going on. That's the confident person. When you're confident, you attract so many more things. And I'm not even talking romantically, but that is one part of it. But they just attract opportunities, connection, people around them. Everything comes from confidence. So in this week's episode, I'm going to share the things that are going to make you a more confident person inside and out. The first thing that we need to do is we need to debunk the misconceptions around confidence. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that confidence is having everything figured out all of the time. And while that's an ideal thing to have everything going right and everything going your way, unfortunately, we know the world does not work like that, and not everything is going to go our way. But even if things don't go your way, you can still have confidence. Real confidence is not the same as arrogance, where sometimes people want to appear more confident and they actually come off arrogant. They come off like they're better than people. They come off with some sort of superiority complex. We don't want that. And we also don't want to strive for perfection, which is simply impossible. Real confidence is having just almost like a steadiness within yourself. It's knowing that even if things don't work out, you will figure them out. Even if you've never done something before, you will figure it out. Even if you fail, you will figure it out. And it's not even knowing that you're going to succeed. It's simply knowing that no matter what, you will figure it out. There's something beautiful that happens when you really reach that inner confidence of knowing no matter what, you will figure it out, because you start to move different. You start to act different in rooms. You start to treat yourself different. You speak about yourself different. Your body language is different. Everything starts to appear different when you know that no matter what, you got your own back. There's something so attractive about somebody that knows that they got their own back. I want you to think about somebody that you admire, somebody that you think is confident. How do they move? How do they act? They're probably not the loudest person. They're probably not the person that's center of attention all the time, but you know through their little habits, their body language, how they speak about themselves, that they got their own back. They don't put themselves down. They stick to their standards even when nobody's watching or they think nobody's watching. If they say they're going to go to the gym, they wake up and they go to the gym. If they're a clean person and they say they're a clean person, they keep their car clean. Like, they do these little things that show you day after day they have their own back. And what's beautiful about this is you can choose today, right now, that from here moving forward, you have your own back. We want to build that inner confidence, that inner knowing, that inner trust in yourself. And over time, your self-esteem goes up and up and up. And again, it's not about being perfect, and it's not about feeling like you're better than everyone. Confidence is quiet, and it's about yourself. It's not about anybody else. It doesn't put you on a pedestal. It just simply puts you at the place that you deserve to be at. So what can we do to become more confident? I want to give you some actual tangible tips that you can do literally right now to start being more confident. A lot of the advice out there about confidence starts with the inside, which I agree. Your inner confidence, that's where we want to be. That's the goal. That's the ideal. But sometimes when you're in such a dysregulated state, I find that it's easier to start on the outside and work your way in. Almost like a fake it till you make it kind of situation, but you're not faking it. You're actually doing things that are going to work on your confidence. And over time, it all kind of builds. I see a lot of advice about confidence and talking about manifesting and writing affirmations and looking at yourself in the mirror and putting the little sticky note. And while I agree that that can be effective for some people, I find that it helps me to work on the outside and work my way in. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys. One of the first things you can do to appear more confident on the outside and over time build your confidence on the inside is stop apologizing for things that you are not sorry for. And I'm not saying stop apologizing altogether. Apologies are necessary in different settings. But as a society, and especially as women, I feel that we are very quick to just apologize when there's not really a true apology needed for the situation. And let me give you an example. You're in the grocery store, you're in one of the aisles, you're looking through the products, maybe you're reading one of the food labels, and someone else comes up and needs something in the exact vicinity that you're at. They reach over, they go through, they say, "Excuse me," and what's the first thing you say? "Oh, I'm so sorry." Maybe you frantically move out of the way, you quickly grab the thing you were reading, you stop reading it, and you move out of the way. That immediately says to that person that you're anxious being there. When what do you have to be sorry for? Because you're in the grocery store, you're doing the same thing they're doing. But we do that over very little things, and we over-apologize, we over-explain, and there are definitely times to take accountability and apologize to people. And even in the grocery store, there might be a time where it makes sense to apologize to somebody. But you didn't run over their foot, you're just reading the food label. Instead, I would just move your cart and maybe strike up a conversation with that person. Continue reading your food label. Continue doing the thing that you came there to do. Another example of this that I see all of the time is if you miss someone's text or you miss someone's call. "Hey, I'm so sorry I missed your text. I was doing X, Y, and Z." Now, if this is somebody that you're constantly missing their texts, every now and then, yeah, it makes sense to maybe apologize because you haven't been reliable for them. Totally makes sense. But somebody that reached out to you an hour ago, you don't need to apologize and say, I'm so sorry. You're busy. And there are ways to express that you were busy, that you wanted to talk to them, that you missed their call, that you missed their text. But there is no reason to be like, I am so sorry for something that's just a normal thing. People understand that you have a life. And especially with text messages, if somebody is texting me, I think that there's a mutual respect that they understand that I will answer the text when I can respond. People have lives, people have work, people have family, people aren't glued to their phones all of the time. So you don't need to apologize for not being immediately available to somebody. And especially if you're trying to date somebody and you're on the dating apps, and this isn't a dating podcast, but I do see this a lot, especially from the female side. You're messaging a guy. The worst thing you could do is start over apologizing. That immediately signals to them that you're not comfortable just existing. So instead of over apologizing and apologizing in every little thing, replace what you say. Absolutely acknowledge things when you're supposed to, but simple little things that are just from you existing, these unnecessary apologies, shift it. Shift your focus. Provide a solution. Provide a response that's not, I'm so sorry, I'm in the wrong, because you're not in the wrong. Another example of this could be in a work situation where you want to talk to your boss or you want to talk to somebody that may be in a position of power. And the first thing you say when you knock on their door and go into their office is, hey, sorry to bother you. Sorry to bother you? To bother you? That immediately starts the conversation. Even if your boss is the nicest, most awesome person, you're immediately putting yourself in a position of, I'm bothering you. I'm so sorry. I don't deserve to be here. When you deserve to be there, you deserve to exist. You deserve to be in these rooms. And instead of saying that, you could just say, hey, do you mind if I ask you a question? Hey, do you have a minute? You don't have to be like rude all of a sudden and barge in. But shifting your language is going to do two things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to shift how other people perceive you. They are going to immediately perceive you as more confident and more deserving to take up space, even if nobody has ever said that. That is psychologically going to shift how they view you. And the second thing that it's going to do over time, and this is the more important thing, is it's going to shift how you view yourself. It's going to start shifting your worth, and it's going to start telling you, wait, I deserve to be here. I can talk to my boss. I can stand in the grocery store just like any other person. I deserve to be here. And it's also going to make you less fearful of conflict. Because why do we do this? The whole over apologizing thing happens because you want to avoid conflict and you want that person to like you. By saying sorry to the person in the grocery store, you think they're going to like you more. By saying sorry to your boss, you think that it's going to avoid any conflict because you're going to ask them an uncomfortable question maybe. I really want you, after this episode, to start noticing how often you say sorry for things and if they're valid things to say sorry for. Again, of course, take accountability when you're supposed to. But if you are just over apologizing almost as a filler word, almost as a natural response, take notice of it and start thinking of replacement sentences that you can use in those same situations. Like at the grocery store, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm in your way, be like, I like this brand too. Or just make some kind of comment and you can move your cart and you can give them some space. Another thing you can do is simply replace your statement of I'm sorry with a thank you statement. So instead of I'm sorry I'm late, thank you for your patience, or I'm sorry I had to change my plans. Thank you for being flexible with me. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Thank you for listening to me. There's simple things that you can say really quickly that take it from, oh, I don't deserve to be here to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. All those things. Another way to build your confidence, both internally and externally, is stop speeding things up. Slow down. And the main thing that I'm talking about here is your pace, like how fast you walk, and also how fast you talk. Somebody that walks really fast and outside of a workout setting, and somebody that talks really fast comes across as dysregulated and anxious. And these are two things that I'm actually always working on because naturally I walk very fast and I also talk very fast. But if you want to appear more confident, especially in a workplace, slow down. You can tell when somebody's confident because they have that calmness and that steadiness. Like if somebody was giving a presentation, they're not talking really fast and they can't even catch their breath and they're shaking and they're sweaty and they're just talking. They're slow. They look at the audience. They talk at a natural, normal talking pace. Same thing with the walking. And this is especially evident if someone's waiting on you. If somebody's holding the door for you and they're a little bit in front of you, do you run up to the door and say, "Oh, sorry"? Or do you walk at a normal pace, look them in the eye and say thank you? A lot of us are the ones that are running up to the door, feeling rushed, talking fast, apologizing maybe. I want you to slow down. Somebody that's holding the door for you, let them hold the door for you and walk up at the same pace and say thank you and express gratitude and say it in your happy little tone instead of immediately dysregulating yourself and making yourself stressed out and rushing up and feeling anxious and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Thanks for holding the door. I'm so sorry." This is the same exact situation that happens in less than 30 seconds, but those two people are looked at completely different. The person that rushes up to the door and the person that walks up to the door. This can be applied in a meeting. Are you rushing into the meeting and apologizing for being late? Or are you walking into the meeting, sitting down, putting your stuff down, and existing? People notice that. They notice when somebody is dysregulated, moving really fast, talking really fast, and then they notice the person that's taking up the space that they need to. And when you listen to somebody confident speak, never once are you thinking, "Oh, they talk so slow." You're just listening. You're listening to what they have to say. And it's probably hitting a lot stronger and with more emphasis because they're actually speaking it in a normal pace versus the person that's rushing through, missing things, making mistakes, getting all frantic. Those two people are two very different people. And this one does take more practice because if you're used to doing this, it's hard to break it. But I really want you to just notice it. You don't have to make any changes right now if you don't feel ready for it, but start to take notice of the places and the environments that you do this at. Maybe you're always doing it at work with presentations. Maybe you do it over the phone. Maybe you do it in front of your friend group when you're telling a story and you're in the hot seat. But I really want you to start noticing the places that you do this where you're speeding up to take up less space. And something that helps me when I find that I'm in this situation is I just take a little pause. And it's amazing. Like, especially as a teacher, I'll be in front of a room of 25 kids and I still get especially when I'm excited about a topic, I'll start talking a lot faster. And instead of rushing through it, I just remind myself, take a pause, take a beat, take some space between the words. And it's amazing what happens because you would think that people would get bored because you're taking longer. But what happens is they actually lock in more and they focus more and you're holding that attention more because you are slowing down. Something that I do if I have a big presentation somewhere is I will look at myself in the mirror and deliver the presentation and I will practice it over and over and over again. And I'll practice my speed. I'll record it on my voice memos until I get it right. I did that with my college graduation speech. I practiced that thing in the mirror so many times. I literally had it memorized because I practiced so many times. And even still, I talked a little fast, but nowhere near as fast as I would if I was nervous. So take notice of it. And the next time that somebody holds the door for you, don't say sorry. Don't run up. Say thank you and express a genuine gratitude. And you'll be surprised, people will receive that thank you so much better than the sorry anyway. Because now they actually feel like they did something positive for you. You know, when someone feels and says thank you to you, you're actually happier with yourself versus the person that just rushes up, runs, barely looks you in the eyes and feels uncomfortable. Now you don't feel like you did a good thing. You just did the thing. The next thing that shows confidence is your posture. And this is something that everybody can work on because so many of us have horrible posture. And this is for a lot of reasons. One is being insecure or not very confident, and the others are our technology, how we sleep, how we stand, being under-muscled. All these different things go into posture. But I want you to roll your shoulders back, pull your core in, pull your glutes in, okay? So many of us are walking around with these big arches in our back. Our core is not engaged. Our glutes aren't engaged. Stand up straight, stand up tall. And while we're at it, I'll include eye contact in this situation. Make eye contact with people. Your body language says everything about you within the first 5 seconds of someone meeting you. If your shoulders are rolled down, your eyes are down, you're not looking people in the eyes when you talk, you're looking all around, you will be perceived as less trustworthy, less confident, less engaged. And even if you said all the right things and you have the perfect resume, the perfect skill set, all the background, if people don't trust you, that vibe is off, right? There have been so many situations in my life that I've gotten opportunities simply because the vibe was there, because the person felt like they could trust me, I could trust them, we were engaged, we had good conversation, good communication. Those things matter. Even if someone never says it to you. You know when you meet someone for the first time and even though they said the right things, the vibe was just off? A lot of that has to do with your body language. And body language does come from inside. If you're internally confident, your body language is usually better. But you can also work on this and start to be aware of it. If you're used to not holding eye contact with someone, challenge yourself to hold eye contact with them, especially someone that may be in a position of power, like your boss or someone higher up than you. This will over time build respect, build your confidence, build your trustworthiness, and get you more opportunities, whether you think so or not. Another tip for building confidence, and this one I love to do, I did it today, I did it yesterday, I love to do this one, is just talk to strangers. And I'm not talking go up to some random person on the street and interview them. Of course, you could do that if that's your style. But I mean, have a conversation with strangers that you're already interacting with. We live in a world where we are so isolated and we could easily go days without ever speaking to anybody. For example, at the grocery store. Now everything is self-checkout. You could go in and out without looking at someone, talking to someone. Unless you have an issue with scanning something, you could literally not speak to anybody. And while that does build more efficiency sometimes and it makes things quicker, it also trains us to not speak to people. And I think speaking to strangers and having conversations with strangers is one of the easiest, quickest ways to build your confidence over time. If you were to think about your confidence as a piggy bank, talking to strangers, every single time you do it, you're adding a quarter, adding a quarter, adding a quarter. And over time, that piggy bank is going to be full. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you go to the grocery store or you go somewhere that you go all the time, but there's strangers around, instead of just doing the, hi, how are you? Good, good, good. I want you to challenge yourself to have some conversation with them. And it literally could be a 2-minute conversation, but there are so many missed moments in your day for connection that you might not even notice are moments for connection. And they're opportunities for you to build your confidence. So if you're at the grocery store and they say the hi, how are you? Instead of just saying good, how are you? Give them something. You can still say you're good, but provide something back. Say, oh, I'm good. I'm making X, Y, and Z tonight for dinner if they're scanning those ingredients. Or I'm good. I'm doing this. Or one of the easiest ways is compliment them. If you see a compliment that they have or they have going on, give them a compliment or give the store a compliment. I went thrifting the other day and it was somewhere that I had never been before. So I was exploring, walking around, but I didn't really know how it worked. And they had this huge section of furniture, like huge. It was a whole warehouse. And the thing that I was interested in didn't have a price tag on it. So I had to find somebody and I found this guy. I asked him like, hey, if it doesn't have a price tag, how much is it? And he was like, oh, let me see. And instead of just like scrolling on my phone while we walked over there or not saying anything, we start chatting. And I just told him, oh, it's my first time here. You guys have so much stuff. I love it. And then he starts telling me the background and he ended up being the owner and he's telling me where he gets the stuff. We have this whole conversation. He gives me a whole end table for $3 because it had no price tag. He's like, you know what? I'll just give it to you for $3. Does that sound good? I'm like, that sounds great. It was so cute. It's perfect. And here we have this whole conversation. And even without the $3 incentive, it was a nice conversation. I learned where they get the products. He tells me about the Facebook page and how he does deals throughout the day. So if you go on, sometimes he does 50% off the whole store and like pay attention to that because he's constantly doing deals. I end up following his Facebook page and we just had a nice conversation. It was simple. It took like 5 minutes and it was something that lasted with me when I left. I went grocery shopping today and the girl ringing me out, there was another woman with her. I'm talking to them. Turns out it was the girl's very first day. I was her very first customer, and she was so nervous, and she ended up doing a great job. And I told her that. I'm like, you're doing a great job. She was this young girl. It was probably her first job, and it was so cute. And it's like, you would miss those moments if you're just on your phone, AirPods in, or just doing the good, how are you? Good, good, good. Yes, it's polite to do those things, but there is something so magical that happens when you start talking to strangers, having conversations, connecting with people, and then also you're building your conversation skills, you're building your confidence, you're getting more comfortable speaking to people. And I'm telling you, if you make it a challenge to do this every single time you're in those little stores, like a grocery store, a thrift shop, the mall, whatever, there will be things that happen for you that would have never happened if you didn't talk to those people. This world is small and people have connections. Even the grocery store clerk has a connection that could help you out someday that you might not ever get if you didn't talk to those people. I shared a story on this podcast a couple months ago. I went to a bar. I sat next to this lady. We start just striking up conversation. It started just by talking about the meal we got. And we ended up having a whole night with her, and she paid for our meal. She told us how she needed this. She got bailed on that night. It was this whole thing that we would have never known if we didn't just talk to her, right? She looked like a perfectly normal, regular girl out on a night. And here it was this whole thing that meant so much to her. And it meant a lot to me too. And those moments would get missed if I wasn't seeking out opportunities to talk to strangers. And now it's fun. It's like a game for me. I literally seek it out. Like when I'm in the grocery store, I really try to talk to at least one person. Out at a restaurant, sitting at a bar, talk to the people around you. It's amazing. This is something that I literally swear by. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your conversation skills. And you never know where this conversation might lead. They might give you a contact that they have or a connection that they have that could literally change your life in one simple conversation. Like it literally happens to people that you'll miss if you just go in, have your AirPods in, talking on the phone to somebody, don't look up, don't talk to anybody. Plus, it's just lonely like that. I'm going to wrap it up here, but I do think I could do a part 2 on this topic. If that's something that you would be interested in, let me know on Instagram at the Wellness Club XO, because just talking about this, I started to think about more and more things that lead to confidence that I would love to share with you guys. But I really wanted to give you tangible little things that you could do literally right after this episode to change your confidence and start building it slowly but surely. I honestly like the piggy bank analogy because I think that's exactly what confidence is. Over time, if you keep putting coins in, your piggy bank's going to be full, and that's exactly how your confidence is going to be. So yeah, let me know what you think at the Wellness Club XO on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening week after week, and I will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye.